All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. I got to tell you, buddy, on a day like today, it's tough to not be out there. It's tough, Coach.
Oh, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to plant that small ball around this afternoon.
I see.
I have big plans to do
I
that.
see your polo.
As a matter of fact, oh, yeah, it's a nice little transition from the black into the gray shorts.
Sure,
there we go. Sure. Busted out the I'm busting out because it's been dry for 4 days in a row. I just got those Jordan 5 golf shoes that I have not yet worn, and I'm going to bust those out.
Jordan 5.
For the inaugural round. Oh, they're beauts. They are just spectacular.
What is the Jordan 5? Why can't I picture it?
Take a look at it. I got the big silver tongue. It's the black shoe. Oh, it is. It's a treat. I actually.
Okay.
I broke him in this morning, actually hitting some balls at the range with S. Buckeye, who had not golfed in a year and a half, and hit the ball great. And you know why? Wasn't thinking about it. Wasn't trying to hit it great. Had no swing thoughts. Sometimes you gotta just go out there. Less is more.
You can't have swing thoughts.
Less is more. Less is more with golf. And S holds. He's actually, in addition to being in the Guinness Book of World Records for the biggest fan ever of anything, Ohio State, and most sleepless nights prior to game days of your favorite team, which he has 124,000. He also set the Guinness Book of World Record about 3 summers ago, maybe more. Could have been 5 summers ago. You know how time goes when we get to our middle age. But he took in one summer, he averaged 1.34 lessons per day.
No.
Yeah, not a joke. That's not even an exaggeration. If anything, it is a minimizing of the amount of lessons that S took that summer. And now, so too many thoughts every day, new thought every day. I figured it out. Next day, I haven't figured out. Now I'm back to this. And then a year and a half off. A year and a half off. Pure as driven snow. Best golf I've ever seen him play.
Wow.
And he was buoyed He's buoyed by the fact that I told him that I mentioned him to Tommy Togiai, which I really think that had him walking on air.
He was thrilled.
Yeah.
Well, I think if Tommy needs a place to stay, S would move into a hotel with his family and give him his house.
Absolutely.
He's got a great house.
Yeah.
Fantastic
Tommy might
backyard.
question where's the top of the key on the basketball court.
He may say, interesting that you I can't shoot it. Where do I check it in? At the free throw line? I don't understand.
No, you're in the step garden, the garden steps.
The garden steps. That's where you check it in. Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, and we're set up for several now in a row, so that's a win. So get out there and live a little bit if you can, certainly. All right, let's get into the OBS topics. Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. For all the X's and O's for your office, you can call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. We have signed James Hudson, our offensive tackle out of Cincinnati, and now 4 of our 8 picks are under contract. And we spoke about this a little bit yesterday, but the experience that he had in rookie minicamp is pretty remarkable. It's almost like a offensive lineman fantasy camp.
Yeah, with Bill Callahan, that you're being paid to attend as opposed to paying for it, which is really a terrific scenario.
Right.
Yeah, great for James Hudson, exciting, and he's going to get – you don't even need to count on him to play. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we were counting on undrafted free agent Desmond Harrison to be our day one – undrafted free agent rookie Desmond Harrison to be our day one starting left tackle. And now, Hudson's going to get plenty of time to develop. Now, it's interesting in going back through some of the literature, some of the comps he got, Desmond Harrison was actually mentioned. Desmond was an incredibly gifted physical specimen. Now, the difference already, though, is that James Hudson is open to talking to the Huff, which I think already puts him light years ahead. Real chance there.
Didn't we call Desmond Thanos? Isn't that what we called him?
Yeah, because he was big.
That summer, because he was so physically imposing.
Deke loved his feet. He said that's the key. If you have the feet, you have a chance to do some things. But, yeah, congrats to James Hudson. It's official. Way to go.
Yeah, very, very good. So that's an incredible thing. You remember the Seinfeld where Kramer went to fantasy camp and Jerry goes, his whole life's a fantasy? Or maybe it was George said his whole life's a fantasy.
It's beautiful.
Didn't Kramer? What the whole deal with Kramer is he fell backwards into money. Nobody ever knew where his money came from, but he always had it. Never had to work. Just kind of cruised around. going on adventures.
Cruiser had adventures. He had
a great life.
It was running a talk show out of his apartment for a while there.
A lot of positives. I don't see that show anymore on the television. Used to be on all the time. I think it's exclusive on one of the streamings, but it used to be on one of the Turners all the time. Are you still you have the YouTube TV though, right?
Oh boy, do I. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you flip with that, or do you just go find what you want?
You can go find what you want. I mean, you run the YouTube TV is basically it's just one app amongst many, right? You got your YouTube TV, you got your Netflix, you got your HBO Max. Speaking of, I'll give you a series recommendation. You know, we're about to jump into Cobra Kai with the kids, and then I think Black Sails once we finish Outlander. But we're also
you're gonna love it.
I can't wait. Ed. There's no doubt.
Yeah, you're
in my
really,
mind that I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown.
Knowing if I'd known. Oh, okay, solid.
Yeah. Yeah. Only 7 episodes. It's like a limited series. I don't believe there will be a season 2, which I know is something against that's not on your core tenets, but it's a quick 7.
Yeah.
And I would say that it has at times what I would call a Thronesian abruptness to major stuff. Like there isn't necessarily the setup to something major about it. It just happens, and you're like, whoa. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna. Yeah. With the fact that you took a class at Emory about pirates.
Great class.
I mean, this is.
It's right up my alley. I'm obsessed with pirate culture.
You'd have been fit anyway.
I'm not taking it to the level of the guy in dodgeball, but I have a real affinity.
It seemed like they had a pretty good go of it. It's funny. Anytime we watch any of these period pieces, Amy's like, she'll say to me, I thank God we don't live in these times. I'm like, gosh, I think I would have thrived in these times. I really think I could have organized. I think it would have been great. I would have loved to be in some of these times.
Oh, my goodness. I think we would have really –
a lot of freedom.
We would have really ruled the high seas.
Do what you need.
I don't think that there's any doubt about it.
I think so.
We would have had a great time.
Your swimming prowess?
Yeah, I think we would have been just fine. You know, being on the ships, though, there's the rampant disease and the lack of inoculation is something that's troubling. Yeah. That's troubling.
Well, I always felt like I would be one of the pirates of privilege. Like, you're not going to be in steerage. I'm not going to be in one of those cots. Like, I want one of the offices. I want one of the offices up front.
Right, we're captain. Where we have that whole back part of the boat's ours, away from everybody who's down below.
That's us.
Yeah, we're not down below.
That's right. That's right. No, we're not down below.
My hope and my great hope is that what Beau said, because it was clearly important and wonderful, went out over the air. Try to talk to me now, Beau.
Did we lose Beau?
I believe that we did, but that's all right. We're good.
Do I have you now?
Yeah.
So it's doing it again.
There we go.
Something in that 1 o'clock hour.
Something's going on back there at that 1 o'clock.
There's a saboteur in the ranks.
Saboteur.
There's a saboteur in the ranks. Mark it, dude.
Get on it.
Mark it, dude.
Mark it at 0, dude. That's 3 of them in like 7 shows. It's too much.
It's way too much.
Too much. Yeah. Something's going on.
It's starting to get to the point where I would have to say it's a conspiracy.
Same. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I was going to say, before I was taken off the air by somebody, that Gibby, yesterday, it was Gibby's birthday, and I had requested Brown's Therapy to do, in GIF form, us in The Hangover. And boy, did he. He basically did the slideshow from The Hangover with us involved, which was just tremendous effort out of him to get that done. And I don't know why Gibby can't give him a little love and just say, give him a little like and just say, boy, this is quite impressive, Gibby, what he's done here.
How about the fact that at various points, Pedro's in it?
Yeah.
I mean, how do we get to the point? Pedro, you, and some of them, I'm not even in it. It's you, Gibby, and Pedro, which is just stunning. It's just
perfect.
I love that Pedro's like Doug. He's the fourth guy. Jaeger.
Pedro
on the roof.
Pedro's.
Good idea.
What a trip.
Worst delivered line in the history of movies.
Yeah, the worst. I mean, it's so bad that when they made the second one, they still didn't even need him. We're going to leave you out on the island. We'll go into Thailand. You stay out here. And then all you got to do is make one phone call. Just stay there. That's all you need. I saw this news today. Progressive Field, it's official, will return to capacity on June 2nd. Masks are optional. So there you go.
There you go.
It'll happen quickly. So we're certainly progressing toward
steamrolling.
Good things. Really seems like
it's like snowballing. It's like an avalanche towards normalcy.
It appears that way, yes. And I'm very optimistic about a football season because that's really, really good news on all fronts that we're headed in the right direction on that. Gibby says, not sure if you guys saw this or not last week, some bulletin board material for our quarterback, Caesars, with their NFL MVP odds for this season. So Baker Mayfield is 33-1, tied with Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan at those odds. Among those ahead of him, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford. Derrick Henry is 50-1 as the best, lowest odds for a non-quarterback.
So,
you know what?
Go ahead.
I don't view this as a slight because I don't think that because of the way that we play offense and because of who the two quarterbacks are, it's a harder needle to thread to get Baker an MVP with those two backs and the way that we play than it would be. I mean, honestly, to me, it would be. I could see a more likely path of even Matt Ryan if all of a sudden Pitts is in there and they're lighting it up, throwing it, and he throws. I could see Matt Ryan throw it for 4,800 yards this year with the Falcons. I could see that 4,800 yards, 30 touchdowns. I could see that. So to me, I think I don't view it as a slight. I think it's more of a product of our offense. I think Prescott's numbers are at that point because the Cowboys, the Cowboy bet there. Herbert's odds are too high. He's not going to be 20-1. Stafford at 14-1. I think he's going to have a great shot. I think they're going to use to put up big numbers in that offense.
You're saying Herbert should be better or worse odds? Worse. He's not going to be the MVP. Yeah.
No, he should be 50-1.
So here's what I think. Matty Ice, your logic for Matty Ice, 100% agree with. If somehow the Falcons come out and win the NFC South and they're a top seed in the NFC going in the playoffs, that's going to be on Matty Ice's arm. So I understand his odds. Tannehill and Baker being tied, this is where I think it's a little disrespectful. Now you're going to say, but Nathan, you were so adamant about ain't no Tannehill high enough. And boy, you're right, I was. However, I think if the Titans go bananas, my guess it's going to be on the back of Derrick Henry. I still think Baker can put up really, really good numbers. I think he should have better odds than Tannehill. I'm fine with them being the same as Matty Ice. Stafford, if they go and they're dominant, they're going to say, oh, well, they changed Stafford for Goff, and that's why he's so valuable. Get that? Sure, Dak. We saw what happened when they lost him last year. Kyler, Herbert, fine. I don't think either one of them really have a shot to win it. Unless if Arizona ends up winning that division that's that tough and they're that good, Kyler is in consideration. I don't see Herbert winning his division. I don't think you can win the MVP if you don't win your division.
Agreed.
Baker, though, I think people look at our roster and they say that the roster's so good, could Myles Garrett be the MVP if he's so dominant?
Right.
Could it be somebody else on this defense?
Yep.
John Johnson leads the league in picks. Denzel's great. Jadeveon Clowney has that breakthrough season where he has 15 sacks opposite Myles Garrett. Could he be the MVP? Chubb, could he be the MVP? Sure. I still think if we're the number one seed in the AFC, Baker Mayfield is a very good MVP candidate, regardless of our path to get there. I think Baker Mayfield would be the one because there are people who still say – not us, but there are people who still say, well, the question is, does Baker Mayfield hold up his end of the bargain with this unbelievably loaded roster? If he does, and he goes, he has 20 touchdowns, 2 picks second half of the season.
That's right.
I'm not great at math, but if you extrapolate that out to 40 and 4, he's going to be the MVP. I think Baker. I think Baker is a bargain relative to the others. Matty Ice is a dart throw, but there is a realistic possibility that the Browns are the 1 or the 2 seed in the AFC, that the Browns win the AFC North, and that is significantly more likely than either Tennessee doing it or Atlanta doing it.
I have no problem with anything you just said. None.
Thank you.
I also think Derrick Henry at 50-1 would be a nice bet.
Because I believe if they do something of consequence, he's going to get the credit.
Be because of him.
Right.
Yeah, if he runs for 2,000 yards again and they go 12-5 and win the AFC South, you could see that. I think that you can find a path for that.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily view this as a slight, and I think some of the people ahead of him make sense that they are where they are. His odds could come down a little bit.
Sure.
Certainly. I mean, like if you flopped him and Herbert, and then I would move Matt Ryan closer to where Herbert is too, that's a more logical place to me.
What is interesting to me about this is that typically in the Super Bowl, for example, a good money line bet that people like to do is they take, for example, Tom Brady. If you think that the Bucs are going to win, you take Tom Brady for MVP because it's a little bit better odds, but the likelihood is that if they do win, he will be the MVP.
Yeah.
Baker being where he is, because Gibbe doesn't even list on here, Mahomes and the real top guys that are ahead of him.
Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady.
Baker's MVP odds are probably way out of whack with the Browns' Super Bowl odds and their divisional odds. So I believe that there is a value in that disparity that does not exist with some of the other people on this list.
I don't have a problem with that.
So there it is.
I don't have a single problem with that. No, I don't.
By the way, we're now Pirates.
Very good.
We're on a pirate ship. Browns Therapy has put us on.
Wait, we
ship.
are?
That's right. And I do believe I'm the captain.
Gosh. That's fine.
No big deal.
You can be the so in the sake of you'd be Captain Flint in Black Sails, and I would be Long John Silver in Black Sails.
LJS is a legit. That's a legit guy to be.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Blackbeard in there.
Boy.
Get a little bit of that guy.
Teach.
I'm so excited. What I think is going to be very fun. I really wish we would have watched this together, because then I could have used you as like a historical. Remember, like when the people that had read the Game of Thrones books, like the Ask the Maester guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like you could have been like the Ask the Maester guy for me, and we could have checked. I could have historically checked this stuff.
Well,
I wish I would have known.
I appreciate that you believe I have 22-year perfect recall on the goings-on in the Caribbean with dates and the like. But I'm sure I could brush up
Your
on it
noodle's elite. There's
Thank
no
you.
question that it's ready at any point for whatever is required. I that didn't even cross my mind that it's been that long. I have no doubt in your recollection of it. I think it'll right there. I think it'll only be inspired when you see it. We're going to have a lot of fun on the program today. Greg Newsome one-on-one with Captain Z. That'll happen here in about 15 minutes from now. Coming up next, what are the highest tickets in the National Football League? Well, there is one common thread.
I can guess that.
I believe you had this.
Yep.
We will get to that coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. It is time to spring into action because Perfect Power Wash's schedule is filling up faster than ever. Demand is skyrocketing. Absolutely do it. That's due to those rising costs of home improvement materials and the booming housing market. I know you've seen the mold and mildew plague your neighborhood. Stop neglecting your home. Refresh it. Don't replace it. Make it look beautiful again and protect your biggest investment from the crazy replacement costs with the help of the pros at Perfect Power Wash. I didn't wait around. I called at my house, the roof, the concrete cleaned and protected. The process is super easy.
Same.
Now everything looks great. I'm enjoying my home more than ever, rain or shine. It's the perfect time. Use the promo code BEAU to get 10% off. Hurry, the promo ends soon, so call the pros today at 888-860-WASH and refresh your home now. I just saw Uncle Jerry was complaining about plywood that costs $50 for plywood now. You get 2x4 is like $8. It used to be $2.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Lumber is like 7x right now. That's why it's very difficult.
Yeah.
New construction is very, very difficult.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, good stuff. All right, so I believe you had this. Season ticket sales for individual teams are out, as you accurately pointed out. Aside from Tampa at New England, the average price at $13.76. Las Vegas with 5 of the next 6 most in-demand games based on average ticket price, and 6 of the next 8 per vivid seats. You see, it's a no-brainer, obviously, why it is. Ravens is going for $944. That's the asking price on that. Raiders-Chiefs, $823. Raiders-Eagles, $673. Raiders-Bears, $654. Raiders-Dolphins, $600. Raiders-Chargers, $500. All in the top 10. This, a buddy of mine in Montana who grew up a huge Raiders fan wanted to get in line to buy Raiders season tickets in Las Vegas. And I remember him telling me something to the effect of, in order to be a season ticket holder, you had to personally be in attendance for a certain amount of games. You had to guarantee your attendance because what they don't want is a non-home field.
Yep, which is certainly possible and, dare I say, likely. Yeah, I think it is because so I think this is going to be one that the NFL, especially the first time around, everyone's going to want to go there and watch them play, go to the stadium, make a weekend of it. It's a fantastic weekend. With all the red eyes everywhere, you're going to be home Sunday night, into Monday morning in many instances. So it's really easy in that standpoint. You and I were talking in the break. It's easily the best bang for your buck in the hotel world. Oh, man.
There's nothing else even close.
No.
I mean, it's not close.
No.
So for all of those factors, it's going to be, but I do wonder how they combat it from a home field perspective, or do they even care? They just cash the checks.
I mean, I think that they're right. Come on, it's going to be the number one. It's the number one road trip destination in the NFL. Second, as I like to say, may as well be eighth. There will be every single team. When you get your schedule, will want to know, when are we playing in Vegas? Everybody who's not in the AFC West. And even in the AFC West, I still think that's going to be the road trip of note for those division teams. But you're going to say, when are we going to Vegas? Let's get together. Let's get a group. Let's go to Vegas. Let's live a little bit, have a little fun. We'll take in the game, and it's going to be awesome. I think a lot of people are going to try to use I'm guessing, and I don't know this to be true. Maybe you do, because it sounds like you're more well-versed on what's going on in Vegas than I bet this is going to be another kind of thing for the whales, the big rollers, the guys at the casinos who, walk in and ask for their marker and they've got their cards and they eat for free. They do all these. This is going to be a total casino. This is going to be used by, I imagine the casinos have to have like sections of seats.
Oh, I would think. I bet they're handing them out left and right.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, of course they would.
They have to just accept the fact that the common man, they're going to want to be in their seats because, listen, season tickets to the Raiders, you take those this year, you bought them. You don't attend a single game in person this year, you've bought your next probably 5 seasons of season tickets.
Yeah, and I got to text my buddy because I remember him telling me that they made you sign something with proof. Almost you had to have proof that you attended a certain amount of games in person. So that you wouldn't have this because they're fearful of this. I mean, they had a nice home field in Oakland in terms of an advantage. It's a nice home field advantage in Oakland, and for opposite reasons. It wasn't a great stadium, but it was loud, it was intimidating. That parking lot is legendary, and now you lose all of that, and now you go into a stadium where do you even have the home field? I mean, let's remember, I think sometimes people forget how big the West is. Like, it's a short flight from the Bay Area to Vegas, but you're not driving.
Right.
You're not driving.
It's
People think, oh, Nevada neighbors California. It's got to. I mean, just all the old Raiders fans in Oakland, they'll just drive to Vegas. No, they won't.
Not from Oakland, L.A. It's still what, 2.5, 3.
It's got to be more than that. I mean, it's almost 2 to get to Palm Springs out of L.A.
So then it must be 3 or 4. I've done
probably more like 4.
I did it once.
I think it's got to be more like 4 from Vegas to Los Angeles. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure you go the same way you go as if you're going out to the desert from L.A. So yeah, no one's going. So they got to try to build a fan base in Las Vegas of the locals.
Right.
And it's such a transient city that, what's it going to be? I think it's going to be fascinating to watch.
It's going
from the Raiders side of it.
They just need to have fun with it. I do think you'll get people flying in from Oakland. I think there are people that will stick with the Raiders through this because that's just like in their DNA. Growing up there, I can attest to the passion, obviously, of those fans. But if they just have to, it's fine. You know what? It's not going to be a great home field. You hope that in the playoffs you can maintain some if you get there, but it's going to be an experience. And I think it's going to be, in some ways, you're going to get a lot of crowds there that are what I would call Super Bowl-esque, in that they're going to be popping bottles in these clubs, and they're going to be, they're going to roll into these games throwing back Bloody Marys after being up till 4 in the morning. You're going to get some zombie crowds, I bet. It's going to be a fascinating study.
That's what I'm saying. I'm really curious. Like, if there was a docuseries on season 1 with fans in Vegas for the Raiders, I would be fascinated to see what that's like. And how they try to create some sort of advantage for it. I'm with you. I hope they have fun with it. I think they may not have a choice. Gibby wants to know, is there a team or game in any sport, not just the NFL, where cost wouldn't matter for you to be able to see it? This is always a tricky one, Gibby, and you know this, and Z, you too, because due to what we've done for a living, we've been able to see a lot of the things that would normally be considered bucket list things. Like, you found yourself at NBA Finals and Super Bowls and Final Fours and national championships and all these type of things. Is there a sporting event out there? It would for me, it would probably be trying to something with some sort of historical significance. That would be something that would probably intrigue me. But I've seen many of the things that you would say are bucket list events.
Same. I mean, I've been to Super Bowl. I've been to World Series with my team in them and seen them win World Series. I've been to NBA Finals and seen my team and both of my teams, I guess, win games in the finals. It helped that they played each other in finals multiple years in a row. But I was 100% for the Cavs in those. Stinks Curry people will remember where I stood in those days. I've been to WrestleManias, which that's a once in a life. It's not a once. There's a WrestleMania every year, but that particular event is a once in a lifetime event. I think
that's interesting. Yeah, like, were you at Rock Austin?
I was at Rock Austin 3, which was in Seattle, which is the first meeting I was. I was not. If I could go back in time and make sure I was at one event, I would have been at the Toronto Skydome for Rock Hogan WrestleMania 18, because that was absolutely bananas. And I wish I had started. If I had started WrestleMania 17, because that's considered by many to be the greatest WrestleMania. That's Rock Austin's the main event. Rock Austin 2 is the main event of that one. You got the TLC matches. You have Triple H, Undertaker. You have an incredible card top to bottom. McMahon versus McMahon. But if I had started 17, 18, though, Rock Hogan would have been the one. But I've gotten to be at, a lot of people say that Shawn Michaels, Undertaker at WrestleMania 25 is the greatest match of all time. I was there, front row. Like, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I'll tell you the one thing that hasn't happened that would be is there'd be a decent amount of money, and that I would pay to us hosting an AFC Championship game.
Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be a Sunday unlike any you've seen. Not the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is a corporate event. It's a corporate event. There aren't that many real fans at the Super Bowl.
Agreed.
So if you're somebody who's out there going, I want to go to the biggest NFL game, and I'm not a fan of anybody, go to a championship game.
The AFC Championship,
that will give you the experience.
If the AFC Championship is in Cleveland, that will be the first home playoff game we host is going to be complete bedlam. I am all here for that. I would love it. Super Bowl is a double-edged sword, right? Because even if it's, let's say it's a home AFC championship, everything about it, you're in Cleveland, is going to be legendary. People are going to love it. They're going to have fun with it. It's going to be great. Super Bowl, if you go, the city it's in matters big time. It's going to be a completely different Super Bowl experience, for example, in New Orleans, which I have been to, than it is in Indianapolis in January.
Or Jacksonville, which stinks.
Right. The city matters. The other thing about the Super Bowl, now granted, everybody would be super sad if you lose the AFC Championship. But when you go to a Super Bowl as one of the few actual fans that are there to root for your team and your team doesn't win, it is devastatingly deflating. Losing the AFC Championship game would be also, I'm not implying that it isn't, but you're in your hometown in this case. The Super Bowl, because your AFC Championship, you win that, then it's on to the Super Bowl. You're still one step from, football immortality, but when you're right there, oh boy.
Yeah. The cool thing about the AFC Championship is that if it's at home and you win, the euphoria spills out into your town.
That's right.
Like and that's something that doesn't happen in a Super Bowl. I've been to 4 Super Bowls.
Unless you're the Bucs last year.
Right. Well, but they had no fans. I guess they had the big parade or whatever, the boat parade.
Boy, did
but
they.
what I was going to say is I've been at 2 in New Orleans, 1 in Indy, and 1 in Jacksonville. And by the way, Jacksonville is a fine city. It just shouldn't have hosted a Super Bowl. It's not equipped to do it. Indy did a fantastic job despite it being cold weather. They did a great job. But at the end of those Super Bowls, and the Super Bowls that were classic, I mean, it was Vinatieri kicking the game winner to beat the Rams, who were, I think, 14-point favorites in Brady's first Super Bowl. The other one was the one where Terrell Owens played with a broken leg in Jacksonville and kind of put a scare in him.
Yep.
I was it was Giants over, the second time Giants over
Indy.
Patriots.
We were both there.
Wes Welker.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you were both in New Orleans, right? Because you were in New Orleans for the
Niners-Ravens.
49ers-Ravens. And what I would tell you, and I bet you'd corroborate this, after the Super Bowl's over, it's not like one team's fans are partying because there aren't that many of them.
It's true. There's a little bit, and then it's much more about the hype, the spectacle, and then there's a little bit of a fallout. Now the teams themselves, obviously, the winning team has a great night. The losing team,
no question,
funeral, not ideal.
But it's not like there are people spilling into the streets.
No. Like the Giants fans
like when Ohio
taking
State
over Indianapolis.
No, definitely not. Not like Ohio State beat Bama in the Sugar Bowl, and it spilled into the city. The party did because there were so many fans there. The Super Bowl doesn't have that. But AFC Championship game here is going to be, and for those who were here in the late '80s when we hosted them, that's it. That's the one that you want to go to. Is that one certainly? Coming up next, certainly a guy who we hope can help us get to that spot. That is Greg Newsome, our first-round pick. He goes one-on-one with Z. Coming up next, you listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If you live and breathe football, you know sometimes keeping your priorities straight can be a challenge. Unfortunately, the same can be true when you gamble. If you find gambling is affecting other parts of your life, get some help, get some tips on responsible gambling at KeepItFunOhio.com. Time for a little one-on-one with the birthday boy, Greg Newsome, turning 21. Happy birthday to him today. Before he did, he went one-on-one with Captain Z.
Very happy now to be
you guys are down.
Browns' first-round pick, the cornerback from Northwestern, now the cornerback of your Cleveland Browns, Greg Newsome. And, Greg, you just came off the field, first NFL practice, first Browns practice. How was it?
Man, I think it was I thought it was great. Just being around the coaches, just getting coached again, just feels amazing. Just learning a new defense and just being around the guys and around my, new class was just amazing. So I had a great time.
So we'll follow up on that, but let's go back. You get drafted, you come in here, you end up going to the Cavs game. Brilliant. You throw on the Jim Brown throwback. Excellent move, a gets us move. You get to have that moment at the stadium, and I saw you're like, that was pretty cool there at the Cavs game. What was that when you think back, was that kind of a surreal, 24, 48 hours for you?
Yeah, when I got to the Cavs game, like obviously I got drafted the day before, but I kind of didn't necessarily feel like an NFL player yet. Like I didn't really feel it yet. But when I got to the Cavs game and, they put me on the billboard and everything like that on the screen, and, everyone was cheering for me. And then I tweet like, I need me a Colin Sexton jersey. And they get me a Colin Sexton jersey. I was like, man, this is cool. So that was the first time, where I felt like I was actually an NFL player.
And then now you come in, yesterday before the mini camp, you come back in, you're with your fellow rookies, your rookie class. You come in here, you get to go through all the meetings and the equipment. You get your 20 jersey and get to put on. What was all that like yesterday for you?
Yeah, it felt amazing. Just putting on a jersey, getting out there. When we finished practice today, like all the guys, as soon as we got back in the locker room, like, man, we just actually finished our first NFL practice. I was like, yeah, man, that's kind of crazy. Like, while I was doing it, I was just trying to lock in and focus and, just put my head down and work on that field. But, after we finished, I kind of got to sit down and just soak it all in. I was like, man, I just finished my first NFL practice. So it was amazing.
And is it kind of fun, you guys? This is a unique rookie mini camp. I know it's your first one, but normally there'd be a lot of guys here, so you guys could do 11 on 11s. This is very small, very intimate. So you guys are going to get a lot of attention and coaching. Was it kind of cool to kind of have that shared experience of you guys all just kind of being in there together and it being a small group?
Yeah, it kind of felt like you're training on your own a little bit, where you got a few guys and one specific coach. So it was actually great. And, I think it's definitely going to help me in the long run, especially when the vets start coming back. Like now I'm getting specific coaching. So when they get back, I'm going to be able to do it on my own. And, I've already made the mistakes and got the coaching right away on the field. So when the vets get here, I'm going to be able to definitely start doing stuff on my own and not make some of those mistakes that I'm making early on.
Well, and, you talk about getting coached up and is there a more positive, smiley guy than Coach Lynch, who you corners spend a lot of time with? I mean, that's got to be a great kind of introduction to the NFL to have somebody that kind of enthusiastic, that kind of infectious smile that he has.
Yeah, man. Coach Lynch is my guy. I love being around Coach Lynch, being coached from a guy like that. Like I want to give him all for him every single day. And he's just so respectful. He's a great leader, and he's definitely a great role model. So Coach Lynch that's my dude though.
Yeah, and it's great to see, and I think that's obviously an important thing. That's what's in a way kind of special about this minicamp. You're going to get a lot of that one-on-one time with the coach that's going to be coaching a bigger room, certainly when the veterans come in here and taking advantage of that. Clearly, you guys have forged that bond. Are you now trying to get Coach Lynch into Crocs? Have we reached that stage of the relationship? I know you're a big Crocs guy.
Man, I'm trying to get everybody into Crocs, man. I think, like I said, Crocs is the most versatile shoe out there. So I'm trying to get everybody in the building to have them a pair of Crocs.
Listen, it's good for the feet, right? You want to have some comfort? Yeah, absolutely. I love it. We were talking about it on the radio today. We're saying, you bring what's old is new. Bring them back. Bring the Crocs back.
Most definitely. Yeah, you can get in the shower with them. Put them in sport mode and go on a jog if you need. You can do whatever you need to.
It's versatile.
Yep.
Very versatile. I like that. So were some of your teammates, were they like, oh, look at that? And there were a couple of you when I walked through yesterday. You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one in Crocs. It's already starting to spread.
I like it, man. Yeah, a bunch of the guys are already on the wave, which is amazing. And I just can't wait to see everybody in the building have them, an orange pair of Crocs or something like that.
Listen, sign me up. I'm in. If you get to get up here, I'm in. I'll be wearing my orange Crocs. I got no problem with that. So you get to get out there on the field today. It's exciting. You know, that's the first time you get to go out there. Let's talk techniques and just kind of, you know, the learning curve for you. What is it similar to what you were doing at Northwestern? Different? What's kind of that been like?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the formations and things like that, it's just a different terminology between the different teams. But, you know, coverage-wise, it's actually, I mean, from what we've installed so far, like it's not similar to what I'm doing. So, you know, I'm learning a new coverage and things like that. Not necessarily a new coverage, but a new way to play it. But, you know, it's not too difficult for me at Northwestern. You know, we had a very schematically sound defense. So, you know, we had a lot of adjustments to things. So I'm just trying to learn different, the verbiage from different coaches and things like that. But when I get that stuff down, then, you know, I'll definitely be up to speed and ready to go.
Is that one of the things that you like, though, kind of doing that off the field, the study and understanding the why of the schemes and why you're going to do this, why this check happens in this situation? Is that one of the things that you enjoy about the game?
Yeah, you know, I think that's the most important part of the game. Obviously, everybody in the NFL has God, you know, gifted talent, but at the end of the day, you have to find a way to separate yourself. And I think, you know, getting into the film room and things like that and just trying to break things down and having a plan for everything is just a way to separate yourself. So, you know, the film room is definitely something that's, you know, so important to me. And that's why I know, you know, on the next level, I will be successful in that realm, just because, you know, in college, I was a big film junkie too. So, you know, nothing's going to change. And all I do is now I have more time. So I'm going to have more time to break things down.
Yeah, that's kind of, and that is one of the things that some of the rookies talk about is like, this is now your full-time job. There's no school. You're a full-time football player. You want to watch film? You watch film all you want. You can put as much into it and make it as much of your lifestyle as you want to do, and then reap the rewards with your God-given talent on there, because it's the mental. You've got the physical gifts. There's no doubt. It's taking that mental stuff on the field, and that's when you get to have fun. And I think, you know, that's kind of the escape for a lot of people.
Well, definitely, yeah. Like you said, that's why film is so big for us. And you know, when we're able to start playing fast, that's when you play your best. So, you know, I'm just trying to get everything down and trying to learn. So, you know, when I get out there with the vets and things like that, I'm able to play fast and don't have to think so much. So when I get that point down, you know, I'll definitely be ready to go.
What's kind of your goals for yourself through this mini camp?
Yeah, first is just to show the coaches that, you know, I am a person, like I said, who puts their head down and works. You know, I'm going to be one of the smartest guys on the field. I'm going to try to show, you know, that I am a natural born leader and that, you know, I'm going to do everything to the best of my ability. And, you know, I'm just trying to gain some of the trust from the coaches. So, you know, when the vets come here, they don't have to worry about, oh, we got to make sure he knows what he's doing. I want to let them know that I am going to know what I'm doing. And, you know, I'm going to learn the techniques and the defense and, you know, I'm going to take out all of this serious.
I love that. I'm sure your coaches love that and love to see that come into action because, look, and you love it too. That's the fastest way to get on the field, right? When they trust you, you got to get the trust of the coaches. And is that one of the interesting things about going from college where everybody at Northwestern knew who you were? They knew what you could do. They know that. And now, look, obviously the organization values you highly. You go in the first round of the NFL draft, but it's almost like you got to almost reintroduce and reprove yourself once again.
Yeah, we were actually, that's pretty funny because, you know, when we were walking on the field, we were like, man, it's crazy. Like, it's like we're freshmen all over again. So, you know, we're definitely all embracing that, especially me. And, you know, obviously, like you said, I got drafted in the first round. They speak highly of me, but at the end of the day, none of that matters because now we're all at the same point in time. We all are learning something new. We're all out there strapping up just like everybody else. So, you know, I try to obviously going first round was, you know, a goal of mine, but now I'm trying to throw that through the window. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where I got drafted. And I'm just trying to, you know, keep that chip on my shoulder all the time and just show guys that, you know, I am deserving to be on this NFL team.
Yeah, now you're a Cleveland Brown. Now it's time to go have the work and then get to play and have all that fun. Well, Greg, love talking to you and certainly very excited to see what you can do out there on the field as defense. I got to tell you, this class, talking to all you guys, it's not a surprise. They always talk smart, tough, and accountable, you know, here. But you guys really feel like a very mature group. You and Jeremiah and some of the other guys that I've talked to just feel like you kind of come in, you get it, at least get what needs to be done to do with the things you want to do.
Most definitely, yeah. I think definitely just talking to the guys all the time, like I could tell like we all had that same goal. We all had that same passion. And, you know, that's just a testament to who Coach Stefanski decided to draft and who he decided to bring in. Like, he brought in the right guys just from, you know, just talking to these guys already.
Sure.
You know, we're definitely all similar into the realm that we're just going to put our head down and work, and whatever the coaches need us to do, that's what we're going to do to the best of our ability.
Awesome, Greg. I'm going to leave you with this one. Take football out of it because I think you've articulated who you are on the field and what you strive to be off the field in terms of your work ethic. What's one thing just about you, the guy, it can be silly, it can be serious, whatever you want, that you would want our passionate Browns fans to know about Greg Newsome so when they see you on there, they can say, oh, yeah, I also know this about him.
Yeah, I'll do something funny first. You know, I speak a little Spanish, sing a little bit, but it's
okay.
It's nothing serious.
Okay.
But no, on a serious note, you know, something I want everybody to know about me is, you know, obviously, people know who I am as a football player, but yeah, I just wanted people to know who I am as a person more, and that, you know, I care about my community. And definitely now, since I'm a part of this family, I'm going to care about, you know, the Cleveland community, and I'm definitely going to give back and show my face in the communities and, you know, help people who aren't as fortunate, you know, as I was. I grew up in you know, in the South Side of Chicago, but I was able to get out. But, you know, not everybody's able to get out of, you know, some of the situations that
30-30.
I'm going to be somebody who, you know, goes and tries to help some of those kids, you know, have an edge and, you know, have a chance to get out of, you know, things like that. So I'm a big community guy, and I'm definitely going to try to help the community out.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I think you're certainly well on your way and certainly excited to see you out there in the uniform today and see what you can do going forward. But again, congratulations. Welcome to the Browns, and very excited that you are a part of this, not only this Cleveland Browns family, the city of Cleveland family as well.
Yep, I appreciate you.
You're up.
Boise, we've heard from Togiai, we've heard from JOK, now Newsome. Really impressive dudes, man. Really impressive dudes that we've got in this class.
Very, and it's not a surprise that they are not only interested in excellent players, but also guys who will be, you know, excellent in the locker room and guys who will be assets, smart, tough, accountable. You hear all of those things. And Newsome, obviously a very confident young man, very young, turned 21 today, so happy birthday to him. But someone who's very talented, and you can hear it. He wants to study. He wants to be great. And I think relative to Togiai or JOK, he's the one guy in this class that really feels like he has a chip on his shoulder. And you'd think JOK would, given what happened, but he's like, I'm over that already. I'm on to business. I'm a Brown. Let's go. Newsome, I think, was bothered by his perception and the fact that, you know, other corners went ahead of him, and I'm for that competitive nature. I'm for that. So let's see how that plays out when he gets here.
Right? Was it just Horn and Surtain?
And Caleb Farley went to Tennessee right before him.
Oh, that's
good
right.
for us.
That's
this
right.
is who we wanted. I mean, you got to feel pretty good when you're on the call with the Haslams, AB, Stefanski, and Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. Jimmy and D said, we've had our eye on you the whole time. You were our guy from the beginning. And then now you're a Brown. Like, that's okay. This organization's dream scenario was that Greg Newsome would be there at pick 26. If he wasn't, JOK was on the real short list of alternates, and now we have them both.
Now you got them both. Good stuff, nice. Good stuff. We play a little better or worse with Dube coming up next.
Or worse.
Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Just imagine kicking back in the evenings in your very own hot tub. Now imagine actually being able to afford one. Northeast Factory Direct buys hot tubs by the truckload. You get a 6-person hot tub with the lounger, the lights. You can still afford your summer activities. Think about owning a hot tub that would be a pain. You think that perhaps not at Northeast Factory Direct. Their hot tubs come with the exclusive hardtop covers. I've seen these things. They're amazing. You don't have to worry about safety or convenience. Plus, you're going to get a lifetime warranty on that cover. Looking for a way to stay active? They have these amazing swim spas as well. It's like a hot tub, but you can adjust the jets to give yourself a gentle current, and you can use them year-round. See for yourself. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, or Freeway Drive in Macedonia, or shop them online anytime at northeastfactorydirect.com. Time for a little better or worse, a little higher or lower with Gibby. Hello, Gibby.
Greetings, gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday.
All right.
How we doing? Everybody good? Weather.
Real well.
It's only going to
Real
get.
well.
I think I'm going to have to turn on the AC.
Oh yeah, it's time to get the AC going.
Time.
That's right.
I like
Mine's
that
been
on
already.
May 18th.
Yes, we're 9 days removed from snow.
Yeah.
That's
right.
so crazy. And that was 9 days removed from the last 80 degrees that we touched right before the draft.
We're done, though, right? I mean, this is it. We're in the clear now.
Yeah,
Don't
60s
you
are
jinx
now.
us.
No, we're done. Safe.
60s would be the worst of it.
Right.
I think you're safe, pal. You're safe.
Safe.
I could do that too. If it's above 50, welcome to shorts weather.
Yeah.
So, a little higher or lower on a Tuesday here.
Higher or lower?
Post
Better or
draft,
worse?
post schedule release, post free agency power rankings.
Oh.
We've done the NFL.com ones. The ESPN.com compliments of their NFL Nation reporters came out this morning on ESPN.com.
This is a Jake Trotter? This is a Jake Trotter predicament?
Yes, Jake Trotter, one of the 32 voters, esteemed voters.
Okay.
In this one. In addition to voting and giving their power poll results, each NFL Nation reporter asked to rank the player who benefited the most from their respective teams off season. Jake Trotter says for the Browns, Myles Garrett. Do you agree with Myles Garrett being the player that benefits the most from the Browns off-season moves? Zegura.
I don't like this. I'm changing the rules. Just
Well,
when
here's
you
a
think you have
shocking
the
development.
answers, I change the questions. And my question is, who's benefited the most, period? I don't want to limit it to a player. Who's benefited the most, period? The answer, Joe Woods. Joe Woods has benefited from this offseason more than anybody. Anybody in the world. You could make the case that Myles, you could also make the case, and I think a good one, Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney's in a much better situation than he's been in a long time, since he played with J.J. Watt, but never able to, have the versatility and have a guy like Myles is just that pure pass rusher over there. So those would be that's who I would say. I'm going Joe Woods. But if it's got to be a player with an ER and not just an A, I'm gonna say I'm fine with Myles Garrett. I'm fine with that. But I'd say Clowney. I think Clowney benefits more from Myles than Myles benefits from Clowney.
Yeah, I mean, both benefit tremendously. I think it's more than just even Clowney for Myles. It's the help in the secondary.
Yes.
It's the extra split second that he has to get to a quarterback that he didn't maybe with the secondary he had a year ago. I think clearly the correct answer would be Joe Woods. You take that, then the whole team is going to benefit tremendously by what's happened defensively. But I do think that's I'm fine with the answer of Myles, and I think that it's one of those things where you're talking about 2 years ago you got the incident with Mason Rudolph, and then last year he gets COVID, and this year it's lining up. I mean, you see the workouts he's doing, you know what's happening, you know how he does that. And now you add the rest of this talent around him. It does feel like, I don't know what the odds are on Defensive Player of the Year, but I think that if they're long odds, I would like him for Myles, quite frankly, because I think that he has a real shot to win that award this year. I do.
All right, so let's start breaking this whole power poll down. Compliments of ESPN and their NFL.
I already hate it.
What's that?
I already hate it.
He hates it.
Oh,
Hates it.
okay. Well, let's get right into it. Let's kick things off. Nick, hit the sound.
Higher or lower?
AFC North. Baltimore, ranked 6th. Should they be higher or lower? Bishop, we'll go with you first.
Lower. We're better than they are. I know they beat us twice last year. I don't care. We've improved a lot more than they have.
Yeah.
And I think they should be behind us. I don't think that they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think you got to win a playoff game to have done that. We've done it. They haven't in the last couple of years. I have a lot of respect for the organization, obviously, but I would have them lower.
By the way, the Browns are
Or worser.
7th. I should have started with the Browns are
Better.
7th in
Worser.
this power poll.
Let me ask you this.
Worser.
You see how it says next to them post-free agency ranking? That's talking about the movement. So they've dropped 5 spots post-free agency. So we're to believe that they were the number – before that, they were number 1?
No, they were 5.
Oh,
no,
that's
they were
the
number
number
5.
it's saying. So they went down from 5. Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was
They
trying
went
to
down one
gather.
spot.
They went down 1 spot. We're better than they are. I believe it.
We stayed the same,
Wholeheartedly.
by the way.
Which
Post-free agency, we
how's
stayed the
that
7th, so our
possible?
draft didn't improve us. Our draft did not improve us.
What? Newsom?
guess.
JOK?
I don't know.
What?
What's going
I
on
don't
with
think
your
there's a
people
lot
over
of
there,
room
Trotter?
for us to go up until
I
we start
do.
playing games.
We're better than
It is-
Baltimore, I'll tell you that.
Putting the Rams ahead of us just right now is
Okay,
ridiculous.
well, I haven't even gotten there yet.
Ridiculous.
Next.
Higher or lower?
The Pukers are ranked 15th. This is at least a little bit better than what NFL.com and our good friend Dan Hansis did. Hansis had them like 9th. At least the Pukers are moving the other direction with the ESPN NFL Nation poll. Zegura, higher, lower, or just right?
I think that's, honestly, I think that's fairly appropriate. I think that you're saying they're still in the top half of the league solely because they're the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they're the bottom of the top half with the ability to free fall well below that. I think that's actually, they did a pretty good job with that one. Now, do I think if I had to go out there and go to the proverbial window and say, do I think the Cowboys end up better than the Steelers this year? Do I think the Chargers end up better than the Steelers this year? I actually do. But I think that this is it's a fair place to start because, as Beau has been telling us, they haven't had a losing record since the 80s.
Well, no,
Bishop.
they had 200 Cower, but it's rare that they haven't tanked since the 80s. They haven't been terrible since the 80s. Yeah, I think I like your point on Dallas. Like, I think Dallas is going to be better than them, and I think the Chargers are going to be better than them. But I'm not as high on Miami because of the quarterback, and I'm not as high on Minnesota. So I think if you just swap the teams around them and they remain at 15, then I think I'm fine with it.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, rounding out the AFC North, the Bengals come in at number 29. Bishop, start with you. Higher, lower, or just right?
They're better than that. They are better than
agree.
that. I'm trying to get down there to see who's in that neck of the woods. So Houston, I agree. Houston's the worst. Detroit, Goff is going to be. He's so much disrespect for a guy who quarterbacked a team to a Super Bowl. Like, I'm not pretending he's Joe Montana, but he's not trash.
Yeah.
And I know they don't have a lot of weapons around him, but come on. Like, Detroit's going to be better than 31. Jacksonville 30. But let's get back to the task at hand, which is Cincinnati. Cincinnati is absolutely better than the Jets.
Agreed.
They are absolutely better than Philly. They're absolutely better than Denver. They're better than Carolina in my view. I mean, I would have them around probably – they're better than the Giants. I mean, I'm just going through – I would have them like 22, 21. And I think they're one of the scariest teams in this
Agreed.
vicinity.
Agreed.
They're terrifying.
Yeah, they are not going to be an easy out whatsoever. I'll tell you, I think top to bottom, when we go through all these teams and you see who's ranked in the 20s, top to bottom, I think this is the best NFL we've ever had. There were
I don't have a problem with that because the teams you're
there
talking
been-
about at the bottom, there's only one terrible team. It's Houston. And that's if Deshaun doesn't play.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. All right,
Like, the Jags are not going to be a joke with those weapons
No.
and Trevor Lawrence. They're not going to be a joke. The Bengals are a scary
By the
out.
way.
The Jets have weapons and a decent, some pieces on defense. The Eagles are not great, but they're not garbage, and they're 27th on this list. I mean,
Can we, just real quick, can we acknowledge that the teams at 30 and 31 on this, Jacksonville and Detroit, Urban Meyer played Travis Etienne at receiver for all of rookie minicamp. and basically acknowledging that they wanted Kadarius Toney, and they're going to try to make Travis Etienne into Kadarius Toney, which is a remarkable thing, that they're cross-training him. He's a running back. I mean, it's what he is. He's a running back, and they're making him play receiver. So that's happening in Jacksonville with your first-round pick, mind you. And the head coach of the Detroit Lions said yesterday that he wants a real lion to be at camp.
That's right. He wants he wants it in the headquarters. He would like a baby lion in the headquarters. He is willing to
walking around.
He's willing to give up an arm to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To part
a
with
lion.
an appendage. Yeah, and he wants a lion. The lion may.
We need a lion.
He can maybe have both. That could be a two birds, one stone right there. Lion might bite his arm off. I'm lucky to be here with a functioning right leg after it was in the jaws of a tiger. True.
I don't even know where to go with that.
True
story. I've told
all
that
right,
story.
all right. So that I'm going to jump down because we talked about the Texans being rightfully at number 32. Obviously, we disagree that Detroit shouldn't be 31. Should it be Jacksonville or should it be or the Jets at number 31?
The Jets should be 31. In my view, the Jets.
But they've got some dangerous players there. I mean, if Zach Wilson,
I just don't believe in Zach Wilson.
Good. They've got a nice line.
Agree with Bishop.
They've got Elijah Moore. Listen, I don't. What I'm saying is there are no, other than a Deshaun Watson-less Texans team right now. It doesn't feel like there are any just jabroni teams.
If Deshaun Watson doesn't play for Houston and they don't get a quarterback in return of 80% of what he is, which is really an impossibility, if all of those things don't happen, Houston has a real chance at 0-16.
Yes.
That's it. That's the list.
That's it. They're the only one.
I mean, last year you had the Jets looking like they could go 0-16. You had obviously
Jaguars.
The Jaguars were
trying.
Seemingly,
yeah.
There were a bunch of bad teams. Like the Giants were dreadful last year. There are a lot of just garbage teams last year. You don't have that right now.
No. I think the Giants are garbage. I think the Eagles could kind of be garbage, to be honest. I think that's very possible.
I agree. I'm not sold. Like, I get that Denver's got a lot of talent. I don't know about their quarterback position.
Yeah, but they got a lot of talent.
Okay, you still got to have a quarterback.
Agreed.
The problem for them, though, is two gloves is good enough that he can win 6 games.
With that team, easy.
So he could win 6 or 7 games. Now, it's not going to do him any favors when he gets to cold weather, but
correct. No, they could win. You know. They could go 9-8 with Teddy Two Gloves. They go 10-7.
Oh,
he went undefeated with the Saints.
No way.
They're better, but he can be, if your team is good, with those weapons.
Also, in a dome with a loaded team, with a really good play-calling coach, with all of those things.
I'm just saying he can put them around 500 easily.
He's got Vic.
They're better than the Panthers were a year ago.
More skill, certainly, yeah.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, so we get into the actual power poll at the top of the list. Kansas City comes in at number 1, Tampa Bay at 2, Buffalo at 3. It does take us to number 4, and the Los Angeles Rams. Should they be higher, lower, or are they just right? Bishop.
Yeah, let him speak first. This is his 4th son, the eldest.
It is my 4th son, nephew at worst. Look, well, first of all, number 1 should be Tampa Bay. They bring everybody back, and maybe even got better, and they beat the Chiefs, the brakes off the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So while the Chiefs have gotten better too, the Bucs, we've already seen it. I like the Rams. I think Stafford will play really well there. We have 40% of their secondary. That's real. They do not need to be 4th on this thing. They don't need to be. They should be somewhere around where we are, 7, 8. They should be somewhere at the bottom of the 10s. They should not be to me, between them and Seattle, I like them a little more than Seattle, but it's really close. And I think the 49ers are right there as well if everybody's healthy. They should not be number 4 on this list. Not 4.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more. I think they are worse than this. Could they ultimately be there? But you got to show me something. And you cannot ignore the fact that they got significantly worse on defense this offseason. They did. That's just a fact.
Correct.
They did. Does Deshaun Jackson still have the juice to be the vertical threat that they need? I mean, is that can you say, okay, well now they've got Deshaun Jackson, that solves their vertical issue in their offense?
Well, they got Atwell too.
Sure. Again, and I like Tutu Atwell, but as I talked with some people around here and myself included, when I talked with myself after seeing the fact that the guy weighed $140, like, I'm sorry.
$140.
He could be an unbelievable anomaly. And on tape, he never looked like he was 140. But that's what he rated. Deshaun Jackson, by the way, folks, just throwing this out there. The last time Deshaun Jackson had 800 yards receiving in a season was 2016. The last time that happened before that was 2014. The last time Deshaun Jackson had more than 5 touchdowns in a season was 2014. Deshaun Jackson's not going to change this offense.
Let me ask you this. They don't need him to be. Just tell me, what was his yards per catch last year?
16.9.
Okay. So that's really what they need.
Yeah.
They need him. They need that at 18. They need him to run, 5 to 8 goes a game to just open things up for Woods and Kupp underneath. That's all they need him to do. They don't need him to have 800 yards.
Yep.
They just need him and Atwell 15 times a game, him and Atwell to go deep and blow the top off, and Stafford to throw it out there. So that'll open things up. So they don't need him to do that.
He's 35.
I do think the Rams are going to be really good. I know. I do think the Rams are going to be really good, though. That's just
too.
a really and they have to prove it.
Final one.
Higher or lower?
All right. Number 5 are the Packers. 6 the Ravens. 7 the Browns. 8 the Seahawks. 9 the 49ers. I'm going to jump ahead to number 10, the Tennessee Titans. Higher, lower, or just right? Zegura.
I don't know, and you guys tell me your take on it. Did they do enough to address this defense? It doesn't feel like it to me. I can't think off the top of my head. They got Bud Dupree, right? Bud Dupree went there. They were a sieve.
That'll be big.
I mean, we lit them up. Lit them up.
A
lot of people lit them up. They lose Corey Davis. Who's replacing Corey Davis?
They lose the play caller.
They lose Arthur Smith. I feel like they're a team that, again, that feels like that style can only last so long, and that losing Corey Davis, who had an excellent year last year, I think that's going to be a real issue for them. I don't think that they seem to me to very much be a one path to victory type of a team, and that those types of teams need to be really, really good at what they do. Granted, I know for a fact Derrick Henry is really good, not dispersed. And I think Ryan Tannehill is an incredibly efficient receiver. I'm on our lads right now, though, and the number 2 receiver that they have listed, they've got A.J. Brown, Josh Reynolds, who came over from the Rams, and Nick Westbrook-Ikeni. Those are the top 3 receivers as of right now. They drafted a guy in the 4th round, Des Fitzpatrick, but
they released Malcolm Butler, Kenny Vaccaro, Adoree Jackson. They signed Dupree. They signed Kendall Lamb.
They signed Denico Autry.
Yep. They signed our Kevin Johnson. I mean,
they just don't seem loaded
Jenkins
to me. I love they got Elijah Molden in the 3rd round. That feels like a great value pick for them. Somebody who can play safety and in the slot, but I don't know that they got, significantly better. I think that they could fall off. They could fall off.
Is that division, the AFC South, the worst in football? You got Houston, Jacksonville, Indy, and the Titans.
The only other
There's
division
no Super Bowl contender.
The only other division I think it could come. There are people who would say Indy is. I don't agree with those people, but people think Indy's pretty good. The only other division that I think, if you added up the expected record of the 4 teams in the division that could come close, would be the NFC East, right?
NFC East is the answer. That's the correct answer. The AFC South is the worst in the AFC.
Yeah.
And then I think one step above them, just one step, is the NFC North and the AFC East.
NFC North, though, you still have a very solid.
It's because of Rodgers.
You got Green Bay.
And you have Buffalo with Allen. So, I mean, those two teams, but like everybody else, you're kind of.
Well, we're down on Miami than others, but Miami, you could easily envision a scenario where they make the playoffs. You could easily envision a scenario where New England makes the playoffs. They got a bunch of guys back on D. They got the 2 tight ends to run their offense. And then the NFC North, as much as we hate to say it, Minnesota's always solid. That's just they're a solid program.
Yeah, they're not going to win 5 games. I mean, they're going to win somewhere between 7
the Bears
and 11.
Made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, crazy.
And I mean,
right.
Justin Fields feels better to me than what they had before.
Yeah, no question. All right, Gibby, good stuff out of you on a little better or worserer here on a Tuesday edition. Coming up next, our good buddy Sam Monson narrating the Pro Football Focus 5 most improved teams. I wonder who we would be playing. We'll play that for you coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Injuries during childbirth require experienced counsel. Call the lawyers at Elk & Elk for a clear answer as to what happened during your child's birth. Elk & Elk, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO today. This from the NFL.com. Pro Football Focus's top 5 most improved teams heading into 2021 and why. I wonder who this could be about. Here's our friend Sam Monson from PFF.
The Super Bowl is...
You guys are down.
But the biggest moves teams will make to chase that Lombardi trophy have likely already happened. Here are PFF's 5 most improved teams of the NFL offseason. At number 5, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And let's be honest, they'd secure a top 5 spot through drafting Trevor Lawrence alone. Lawrence is viewed as a generational quarterback talent, with 3 straight seasons of PFF grades above 90.
Trevor Lawrence has been pretty much put in Sharpie since the day he was born.
If he can hit the ground running, he immediately transforms the team's prospects. They've also made a lot of moves around him, but on paper it's a real mixed bag. Drafting Lawrence's college running back, Travis Etienne, is a gamble, that they'll hope will take some of the pressure off Lawrence early. Etienne had 85 breakaway runs of 15 or more yards in his college career, second only to the Colts Jonathan Taylor. Next up is Washington. Okay, so they didn't find an elite quarterback, but the football team did what you do when you don't have a good shot at one. You give Ryan Fitzpatrick a call. The man they call Fitzmagic has the 15th best PFF grade over the last 3 years, which is a huge upgrade over what they've had.
Back to throw, floats it down, corner of the end zone. Gesicki, got it! Touchdown Miami.
And then the team set about trying to find him some weapons. Curtis Samuel came over in free agency, while De'Ami Brown was added in the draft. That should give Washington a healthy receiving threat beyond what's just been Terry McLaurin for most of the last 2 seasons. Washington also continued to make an already elite defense stronger, signing William Jackson III in free agency, PFF's #1 available corner. The New York Jets cut ties with Sam Darnold and instead will be rolling with Zach Wilson as their new quarterback of the future.
Look, this is a player that brings a lot of energy, some confidence, borderline cockiness, which is what the Jets actually love about him.
Wilson had a PFF passing grade of over 95 this last season, the highest we've ever seen in college. And the situation he steps into is already far better than any Darnold has been battling against. Corey Davis was added as a receiving target in free agency, fresh off the back of a breakout season in Tennessee, in which he ranked top 5 in yards per route run.
Davis reached up and snatched it.
The Jets also continued to work on the offensive line, making a trade up in the first round of the draft to grab Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC, a player that's allowed 3 sacks in 3 seasons. On defense, they may have also just signed the best edge rusher they've had on the roster since John Abraham, with Carl Lawson slotted to fit into Robert Saleh's more aggressive defensive front 4 after notching 64 total pressures last year. With the kind of spending spree they went on, you'd hope the New England Patriots would be on this list, and here they are, all the way at number 2. The Patriots made not 1, but 2 tight ends among the league's best paid, and they did so within 36 hours of each other, signing Jonnu Smith and then Hunter Henry once free agency opened.
And a great throw and catch from Herbert to Henry.
No team ran fewer plays with multiple tight ends last year, so we can expect a significant shift in offensive philosophy. All the moves they've made should improve the team, but their future hinges on the success or failure of quarterback Mac Jones. New England grabbed Jones at the 15th overall pick of the draft, and while he may not start right away, he could be the team's long-term answer in a post-Tom Brady world. No team has made better moves than the Cleveland Browns, who put themselves firmly in the realm of Super Bowl contenders. Last year's team came off the rails as the secondary was brutally exposed, so their entire offseason was about adding coverage playmakers. Every single healthy season of safety John Johnson III's NFL career has earned PFF grades higher than 80. Every single one.
We practice this all the time.
And Troy Hill coming along for the ride gives Cleveland 40% of the league's best secondary from last season that belonged to the Rams.
It's scooped by Troy Hill to 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
In the draft, cornerback Greg Newsome,
30.
linebacker / coverage super weapon Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah represent more reinforcements with their top 2 picks. JOK was a top 20 player on PFF's big board heading into the draft, and the Browns ran the 2nd most plays last year of any team featuring a linebacker covering the slot, an area he excelled in college. Cleveland ain't the same old Browns anymore, and they're looking to win something big in 2021.
You're up.
That's right, Sam.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. He's our guy. Love Sam. Love him. Love the guys at PFF. He used our line. We've been saying 40% of the league's best secondary.
Yeah, that was. He's been on the show. He's probably heard it. He's probably heard it thrown out there. Or he also knows that 2 out of 5 is 40%. But
we could
take
both,
credit for it.
In fact, same. Could be both. We teased this yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. Jason Lockenfora will hit it next. His 2021 quarterback tiers. We'll go through his tiers and then take a look at where these guys would kind of fit in our mix. We do that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, we teased this yesterday.
Yes, kept them waiting.
You had to wait a full 24 hours.
They were restless.
Good things to those who wait, kids.
They said you teased it. Where was it?
It teased it. Well, we had to give some tequila advice. What do you want?
Yeah.
CBS Sports NFL insider Jason La Canfora with his 2021 quarterback tiers. He has 7 tiers in this thing.
Boy.
He has 7 of them, which is ambitious. Certainly ambitious. But he does have 7 tiers. Before we get into his tiers, I think it's important for you and I to explain the definition for us of a franchise quarterback. How was it defined by you?
There's no doubt that this is the guy I want being the quarterback of my organization for the next 10 years, and that I believe he possesses everything needed to win a Super Bowl if we provide him with the proper supporting cast. And he will elevate everybody around him.
Your standards are a little higher than mine. I would say, for me, the definition of a franchise quarterback is 10-year starter. I don't have to worry about the position. I know I can win division titles with this guy, and I don't have to draft quarterbacks. Like that to me would be. So, for example, I'm trying to think of a guy who recently would, like, for example, to me, Dak Prescott is clearly a franchise quarterback.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, so like Stafford's a franchise quarterback. Like those guys would be franchise quarterbacks for me. Those guys aren't necessarily. See, for me, what you described is a Hoff. And I don't think you don't have to be a Hoff to be a franchise quarterback.
I think that's fair, but if I were to go just for a discussion's sake, your definition would have been real applicable to Andy Dalton in the early.
And to me, he would have been,
okay,
because he was the quarterback for 10 years.
I don't
they
feel
won
like
the
I can
division.
Win a Super Bowl with him, so he can't be a franchise quarterback. Like, I have to feel like I can win a Super Bowl.
So you have to win it, but okay, so that's close to Hoff though, because if you're a elevator of everybody and you win Super Bowls, and I don't have to, then that's a Hoff. That's a Hoff guy. That's Eli Manning at worst.
Okay, so off the top of my head,
so like Phillip Rivers to me is a franchise quarterback.
I feel like I personally feel like I can win a Super Bowl with Phillip Rivers if I give him the right cast.
That they just didn't.
They just didn't. There are a lot of malfunctions at the junction, but I absolutely think Phillip Rivers, he would fit my definition for sure, in my mind anyway.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So La Canfora breaks it down in 7 tiers. So bona fide franchise guy. Tier 2 is top pros, proven winners. Tier 3 is rising stars. Tier 4 is can't win with them. Tier 5 is guys, vets, and placeholders. Tier 6 is good luck. And Tier 7 is the jury is still out. So that's the way that he goes. So his bona fide franchise guys are Mahomes, Jackson, Brady, Wilson, Rodgers, Allen, Justin Herbert, and Deshaun Watson. Those are his bona fide franchise quarterbacks.
Okay.
So to me, Justin Herbert, after 1 year as a bona fide franchise quarterback, is awfully aggressive.
Nope, don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
I would also say that I'm not sure about Lamar Jackson.
He would not be on my list either. Of the people he has in this tier, my list would be Mahomes, Brady, Wilson, Rodgers. I'm ready to say it on Josh Allen. I've seen enough, in my opinion. I'm ready. I'm fine with that. And Deshaun Watson. I would probably add Dak Prescott to that list. You could talk me into adding Stafford or Ryan to that list. And then this, I'm going to go kind of out of, I don't know if this is, out of left field or not. And people say, well, if you're not ready to say about Herbert, how could you say about, I feel like in Cincinnati, there's no doubt Joe Burrow is the franchise quarterback. I don't think they have any doubts.
Yeah, it's tricky. Well, the same would be true then of Trevor Lawrence.
I want to see him play in the NFL before I put him in the franchise quarterback
Same
list,
would be true of Kyler. Like, there's no question he's the dude in Arizona.
So, like, the way that he made this rising stars group, if you put Murray, Lawrence, which last year he gave put ironically, if you look at last year for a consistency thing, Burrow was in the, I've got to see category, even though he's the number 1 overall pick. Lawrence just gets right into rising stars. But if you wanted to say as a tier of one more year to see it, and then their franchise quarterbacks, and you wanted to put Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Herbert, and Baker in that group, and say we can't label them franchise quarterbacks yet, but this is the heir apparent franchise quarterbacks, or the franchise quarterbacks next gen if they maintain their current trajectories, I'd be fine with that category, which is I think what he's trying to say with rising stars. So what I would do is I would probably take Herbert out and put him down there, and I would take Baker out and put him in that too, as in the next gen. Now, you could also say Lamar Jackson.
Rising stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think what he's trying to say with top pros, these are guys that are studs that have been around that you can win with, that would be a Matt Ryan, a Stafford. Prescott, to me, I'm putting him straight up in the franchise quarterback. You saw what happened when he went out last year. I'm fine with it. The proven winner, pro guys, that feels to me like where a Stafford would belong. That feels to me like where a Matt Ryan belongs, even at this point where a Cousins belongs, or guys like that.
Well,
Cousins
yeah,
at the bottom of that
Cousins
list.
in at the very bottom, and I would probably move Lamar Jackson into that group,
That's
proven winners, because I think he is a proven winner, but he's not a – so I really think there's only 4 quarterbacks in the league that you look at and you go, those are dudes. I think there's 4 dudes that you put them on any team, they make every team better, almost regardless of circumstance surrounding them, and it's Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, and Wilson. Like those 4 guys, to me, I think are separate from even, some of these other, even Josh Allen, for example. Like those guys, to me, it seems I can't put Josh Allen in the same category with Aaron Rodgers. He's not there yet. Does that make sense?
That's
like
fair. That's fair.
It seems like you need another either combine some of these tiers a little bit or move it around.
First ballot hops.
Right.
Trend, trajectory maybe to get the Hoffs, and then you would put – see, I think Watson, without any of the – is there, without any of what's going on.
He's my – if you do it, if you go Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Wilson, then Deshaun Watson, I would have be the next guy.
Yep, agreed. And then I'd have Allen be the next guy.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably go –
and then –
Prescott, and then get into the – then it's flavors, right? Do you want a Stafford? Do you want a Matty Ice, Kyler, Lawrence, Burrow, Baker, Lamar Jackson?
Right. Yeah. I think it's interesting. So can win with them. He has Carr, Cousins, Fitzpatrick, and Wentz in that group. To me, I don't understand why Goff's not in that group.
Why is Garoppolo not in that list?
I don't
understand. Why is not Goff? Right.
Or Garoppolo. Goff and Garoppolo should both be in that list.
100%.
I would put them in that list over Wentz, absolutely. And I think both are more accomplished than Cousins or Carr,
or
quite
Fitzpatrick.
frankly, and even Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Those two they both quarterback teams to the Super Bowl.
Yes. Their starting records are excellent. Now, do I think that Goff is going to be able to be that successful in Detroit? No. Of course not. I think he's in a much more difficult situation, but could he end up being good? And I still think he, in the right situation, can be very, very good. And I think last year, honestly, the flaws were much more with their personnel than they were with Goff. And then it became a McVay-Goff. You can't have that. Then it became toxic. Because McVay can't be wrong, And sometimes you get in those situations. Well, it's not me. I got to get a better trigger guy than that. And it's hard.
Yeah, I think McVay got to the point where I'm not going to take heat for this.
Correct.
So I got to find someone where the blame can land, and it landed at Jared Goff. And I'm not the biggest Goff guy in the world, but I just think there's an overwhelming disrespect for him and an overwhelming almost pass the buck on Carson Wentz. Like, as if I just don't understand it. It's like a lot of people think Wentz is better than Goff, and there's just nothing that we've seen that proves that. Wentz was god-awful last year.
Right.
I mean, awful. Goff has never been awful since his rookie year.
Correct. And that was with yeah. That was in the
chaos.
Jeff Fisher days in complete chaos. Totally.
Now, what he does have here is in the good luck category. He does, and Ben Roethlisberger is a first ballot Hoff, but he is one of the few guys who has put him in the good luck category, and it's just I don't think he has an arm anymore.
He's the hardest person to know where to put in a tier at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
But everything else, I'm fine. I'm fine with that one, and then jury's still out. I'm fine with those as well.
I am far closer to selling big on Daniel Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen Hurts. And I would almost, only because Wentz is where he is, am I not putting him in that category? But, to me, I've seen enough of Danny Dimes. I've seen enough of Tua Tagovailoa, and I've seen enough of Jalen Hurts to know I feel pretty confident of what they are.
There have been very nice flashes with Danny Dimes. Tua, it's really hard.
His own team pulled him.
For Ryan Fitzpatrick.
In the middle of games because they were better with the other guy. In the middle of games, like competitive games, you can't play anymore. We got to go get this guy because we know you don't give us a chance to win.
Yeah, which,
not
a ringing endorsement. We've been pretty consistent on that. Could he end up ultimately proving us wrong? Yes. I think Josh Allen made tremendous progress from his first year to his second year, had good continuity, and capitalized on it. I don't think there's any question that Tua can throw the ball. I don't think there's any, you've seen his ability to do so in college and at times in the NFL. He just doesn't have watching him doesn't make you feel like, okay, this guy's at one point going to be able to dominate this league. Herbert's shown you, Herbert can be dominant. Josh Allen can be dominant. Baker is getting, I think it's interesting the category that Baker was in is in a proven winner. Pros lumped with Stafford and Matt Ryan when, he's had a great second half of 18, 19. I think we can throw it out. Last year, once he got used to this offense, he was 20-2. I think he's on an ascending star, trending towards, with another year like last year, he's a franchise quarterback.
Yes. Yeah. I think he's closer to tier 1 than he is tier 2.
Yes.
And I would put him in tier 3.
I would put him in tier 3, with 3 not being worse than 2.
Which is not a slight.
3 being different than 2.
Exactly.
2 at this point.
Different. Rising stars. 2 is, there's a ceiling.
They're not going to 1 at this point.
No.
3s can.
And again, that's why I think he's got Prescott shouldn't be in there.
Mm-mm. He's either the end of your 1s, the cutoff of your 1s, or he's the top of, at the top with your 3s. Coming back from the injury.
And I think
he's a 1.
I think Stafford is going to prove this year he's closer to a 1 in the 1 group.
He either needs to be in the 1. He's not where he is, and maybe I'm just wrong on his age, and I know that, Gibbe was all over him for missing so many games, which was proven to be
I think
erroneous.
he's like 32.
I don't feel, in my mind, he's not as old as Matt Ryan. Is that fair to say? Is that even accurate?
Fair.
I don't know.
I think he's 5 years younger, or 4 years younger than Matt Ryan.
He's 33.
4 or 5.
He's 30. Just turned 33.
Ryan's like 36.
Ryan's only been in the league 1 year longer, but is 36. Yes.
So it's 3 years younger.
Just turned 36 yesterday, as a matter of fact.
There you go. All right. Very good. I like that Lock and Four does this. It's interesting how you define these. It's interesting how you define these guys. Still so much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When's the tee time?
3:40. Hightailing it.
I like it.
Right to the links. Got to take advantage. I mean, but I was having this.
Do you go Turnpike?
No. I go 480.
I think it's quicker.
GPS has me on the 480. That's what it says. And then I get off at, was it 82?
I think you go Turnpike to Streetsboro. Exit. One past me.
30.
You're right there.
I'll plug
I bet
it
you
in.
that's a 31 minutes is what I'm saying that is.
Okay. All right.
31
minutes.
minutes.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, check that out. All right, the next level.